Well, greetings and welcome to the Evangelist Collective. It's a space and a place where people who love the Lord and want to make Him known can get encouraged, inspired, so that they can go out and preach the gospel. And so today I have my good friend, Damon, all the way down in Christchurch, who's going to be sharing his life journey with us. Hey, it's good to have you here, bro. Hey, why don't you just tell us a little bit about your faith journey?
Yeah, right. Well, I was brought up in a small town in Hawaii, in a Christian family. And so, I'd done the whole church thing growing up and whatnot. Basically, it came to a point where I knew I wanted to help and I wanted to serve. And as soon as I got to the point, I just, right, what did I do? I did a polytech course in carpentry, and then I headed up to the North Island and joined a small group with mobile maintenance. And did that for a year, and I've been to 3 different countries as well, Philippines, Fiji, and India. And God has provided and looked after me through all that. But sort of recently, I guess, I've been through a journey on my own, because when I came back from India, I really started to lose faith in, basically God, and the answers were right there in front of me. But I guess rather than looking at God, I started looking at people. I started looking at negatives in the church, and I knew firsthand that God had provided. For instance, when I decided to go to the North Island for a whole year, I looked at my account balance and I thought, right, well, to survive a whole year, I'm gonna face this year, a lot less money than I had, which not a big deal, but I just had it tracked right. So it was the accommodation and food and whatnot. I'll be, this chunk of money will be, that's fine. That's what I planned. And we were sponsored through other people, through connections that we met. And at the end of the year, I had enough, more than what I had. Then to start was incredible to me, because I was only a mission volunteer, and so I decided to go to Fiji and help out there. Like, I had enough money to go to this trip, and back home was the same amount, which was huge. But lots of miracles like that happened for me. But it's funny, I guess you could say the devil gets to you and really ruined it all for you. So I got back from India and I was pretty torn, and especially at what I'd seen. I guess I won't go into poverty and stuff like that, but we saw some terrible stuff, and I'm the sort of guy that hates to be useless in a situation. But for that 2 weeks, I definitely felt it. And so I came home and I started to try to run my own sponsorship thing, talk about the organisation and whatnot. And I guess my heart wasn't in the place. I didn't ask God of it. I didn't pray about it. I just fully relied on people. And that's the only reason why I was going to church from town to town, was that I wanted their money for the organisation, of course. Yeah, but so I was crushed, and I took it out on God. And so after a while, I just walked away. And obviously, when you walk away from God, it happens. Everyone goes through their thing and their faith line. Like, there's, everyone does it. But man, it's not a good thing to do. You end up lost, and you think it's better because you've thrown one thing off your chest, but really it's just, you've just thrown that one thing off that can help you. Big times. Watched a lot of things that God had given to me, and a lot of gifts that I never really noticed that He was providing. I guess, or all the small things sort of disappear with it. And so it was I should say I was in Timaru at that point. I'd been there 2.5 years, and so after losing what God had given me and whatnot, it really starts to, wake you up as well, because, you notice that he's not there. Well, he is there, but, through a stubborn heart and what, you sort of don't know it. And obviously, I lost, But anyway, so I'll make it quick. So I went to start going to church, and into Maru, and there's a Quippers. And I just thought, okay, well, and I'll hang around, at least it's a decent crowd, good, decent group of people, something to feed off, because I believe that, you need to hang around good people in your lifetime, especially when you're going through tough, I guess. It's just, I don't know, that's how I just find out it is. I'm sure your pastor tell you that and explain it some other time. And I sort of had it on my mind to go to Christchurch, and I'd been thinking about Christchurch for a while, and I have goals and whatnot. They weren't going to be met in Timaru, and I just thought, you know what, I didn't think that. I had a lot of convincing the church, and I had a guy come up to me, and he goes, basically, I pictured you, on a mountain bike, which is what I'm into. And he goes, basically, you're looking down the slope of what God got for you. It's got jumps and whatnot. So you're can you just look down? And he goes, you need to stay at top, look at it, or you do it. And there's going to be ups and downs and whatnot. And I don't know, that's enough speech to get me to move anyway. So I did. And through that time, it's like, okay, so I didn't have God in my life, but he sure was talking. And so I found a job in marketing, and it was quite fun. It took ages trying to find a flat, couldn't get one. Then a couple, I get told of a sleep out that I can board in for just temporary. And anyway, so I get up here and start the job, and it felt wrong, if not dodgy. And I won't go into why, but it just did. And I was like, okay, so I still feeling healthy out there, but obviously, a guy like me, well, most people, income matters, I guess. And so, I was sort of tossing my mind, okay, do I try to find another job? Because I was going to sleep feeling guilty. Then I meet Sunya, who just happens to be around the place, and he goes, right, I'll take you to this Living Waters conference. We yacked for a bit, and he asked me about, my walk and my life, and I said where I was at. I was honest. I didn't trust God. I had every reason that I should have, but I didn't. And he goes, right, let's go out to this event. So I went to this event, and honestly, what I saw there was just amazing. Just the family, just how everyone had each other's back, and I really saw, because our church I went to, not all of them, they're still farmers or tough blokes, but I guess we didn't have really, I couldn't really tell who the ones with damage were in that area. I guess maybe who's the ones who had really been through, the sort of grits that the world, But I saw people there that night that, man, like they had been through some tough, man, how much God had helped them, and just incredible. And the family, how you could just tell that they had each other's backs. And I decided, I want this, and I want this, and I don't want to be sitting on the fence no more. I want this, And so I went up the front, and things have changed from there. Like, I got prayed for, and I was like, right, and I was still, I knew I had God, but I still had my earthly worries. Like, what am I going to do about this job that's, wrong? And I know it's wrong. What I'm doing, I'm going to doorsteps, lying through my teeth, And okay, it was for charity, but I'm not doing it for the charity. I'm doing it for myself, for my own. And so I decided, right, well, what am I going to do? So I went and spoke to the pastor of Living Water, and then after that, I think might have been the following Sunday, I went to a Quippers, and I go, okay, I might just make sure that it wasn't just that guy's opinion. So I went yacked to their pastor, and he goes, "Yeah, I think you know what you got to do too." And I thought, "Oh, brilliant, cool." And I like this. I like this testimony. So I just see this final part, and so right, well, so I go to the marketing place, and I just be honest, I can't do this. I'm feeling this is very dishonest, and I'm feeling this is wrong. And they gave them, said reasons that will help them to, because they know what they're doing is wrong. I talked to them one on one, and they all mentioned that you just got to get you the guilt part and stuff like that. Like, that's not on. And so I left, and which is quite nerve wracking because this is recently, and we just had this COVID-19 thing, and I thought, well, crap, it's going to be difficult for me to get a job. And I bounced to all these different companies, and they all said, look, you got the right skill and stuff like that. And particularly one Bunnings place, he showed me manager, and he showed me around, and he goes, look, with what you've got in your CV, we'd hire you on the spot, but we don't know what's happening in 2 weeks. And I thought, okay, well, okay. And so I go back and had some more interviews that weren't going anywhere. And then the security guard comes around, and she mentions that Pack and Save are desperately needing more workers. And I thought, well, okay, well, I'll just go and see them because it's something. And I've never worked in a supermarket before. To be honest, I've never really wanted to. I walk in and talk and just say, look, I've got good references, and he hires me on a temporary contract, and I think, sweet, that's okay, I'll work here, but in the meantime I'll still do interviews and whatnot. And obviously now everything's shut down, and I'm one of the only jobs that is still going, which is incredible. And think about it now, if I hadn't gone to that Pack and Save, I would have been in a lot of trouble. Probably had to go back home to lose my parents or something. But what blows my mind is, God had back a step it away. Like, I just heard, just some mention Pack and Save, and I went for it. And I was to be very that God wouldn't have my back, especially when I left the marketing job. And if I know now, if I had tried to stay at that place, I would have found myself in a lot of trouble, because that place will be shut down, obviously, as well, which is good riddance. it'll come back up. It'll come, but I know, now I can go to sleep at night that I'm doing an honest job for an honest amount of work, and the money I earn is not guilty money, and it's great, and it just shows and how much God really had my back moving to this place, Christchurch, and he knew where my heart was at, and he obviously just made me bump the right people, which he did. And I'm excited, to know more, and obviously when the church gets up and running again, to find my own church family. I'm really excited for these times ahead.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I mean, I don't know if you see this, and you've already mentioned it time and time again, just how God has his hand on you, bro. And he's led you from where you were to where you are today. And I don't know, I just get encouraged just to hear that knowing that, these times are uncertain. There's a lot happening in our world at the moment, but just by listening to your story, it reminds me that God's got us, and I just take confidence in that. And so that's awesome, bro. And so I guess, at the moment you're working, you're finding a church family to belong to, but what else is God stirring in your heart? Are there dreams? Are there aspirations? Are there things that you feel that God's leading you into? So talk to us about that.
I'm still finding it hard to tell if it's a God dream or not a God dream, but I really like stand-up comedy, the decent stuff. I've done it before a few times, And I really enjoy just making everyone laugh. And I thought, man, you know, this is the whole reason why I came to Christchurch. Like, man, I've got this goal. Yeah, it might turn to rubbish. I might never, but I still want to give it a shot. I still want to. So that's actually moved up here because I've got opportunities up here, not in Timaru. And it has been stirred, and it is with God. But I do know that God still does have a plan. And, you know, so basically, from looking back at my experience and looking back again now, how He's helped me right at this point, of keeping a number one and that goal number two. And if, you know, I'm going to do what I can with that goal, hopefully with God's backing, with God's approval, I know it'll go well. But I know if God says, no, I want you to do this, well, then of course I'm going to do that because He's had my back every step of the way. But that's, yeah, it's playing in my heart, I guess. And I still want to continue to help and serve because I just seem to be neutral at that, I guess.
Man, yeah, that's one thing I do notice about you, bro, is that you have a compassionate heart, man. You've got a big heart, bro. And that's one thing I really appreciate about our friendship, man. You just have a big heart. But, hey, it's so good to hear your dream, bro. Like, I can actually get behind and believe in what you feel stirring in your heart to bring joy and laughter to people's life. So that's incredible, bro. So just as we kind of wrap it up, you know, what would be one piece of advice that you would give to somebody that's listening to this interview that you would say to encourage them in their walk with Jesus?
Quite simply, just take steps. I'm guessing our audience is young at the moment. Just take steps. If you feel God calling you to do something, now's the best time to do it. Don't wait. Just go for it. Do feel free to message. You know, obviously you got Sonia to talk to, but if you want to hear more of my story, or if you have a question, yeah, free to find me out or something. But yeah, my biggest fault is just if you feel God calling you, just get advice, talk to people, whatever. That's the first thing I did wrong when I walked away, is that I just walked away. I had help, I had everything there, but I just didn't take it. And I think I probably, you know, everyone, like I said, everyone does that thing where they turn their back for some reason. But you know, I probably missed out on something special. That's the other side of it. That the more you're with God, definitely the more you'll do, more miracles you'll see. So yeah, is that good enough?
Yeah, man, that's so good, bro. No, I really appreciate it. I mean, most people don't realize, I mean, they'll be listening to this and thinking, you know, how did we ever meet? But, you know, I was so grateful that we were sitting in the same room having dinner at Steve and Lily's house. And it was such a God moment. And, you know, just to spend that evening with you and the others, just, yeah, just saw something beautiful happen in your life. And I was able to experience that with you. Just kind of like a new beginning, a new start, a fresh, something fresh that the Lord's doing in your life. And so I look forward to what the Lord's going to do in your life going forward, especially as you pursue this dream as things start to clear up after this whole COVID-19 thing. But so thanks again, bro, for jumping on, and I really appreciate your time to share your heart, your story with us. And I know for certain that it's going to encourage and inspire someone today. So thank you again.